morning, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Dark Tides and Whispered Hearts. Before we go around and say hello to everyone, please take a moment to check out our social links. Here you can find our Discord, Twitter, and YouTube. Discord, be a part of the community. Twitter, send me a DM and I'll get you a game. And YouTube, go and catch up on all the other shows and all the other games in this series if you haven't caught them already. We do have a tweet. If every 10 retweets will trigger some shenanigans from the Dread Sea. So do check that out as well. Oh, I've also just realized I haven't told my players about the hype train. Players, you're gonna learn something in a minute when I address the chat. Just go with me. Love you both. Also check out our sponsors. Hero Forge have a Kickstarter running at the minute. They are fast approaching $1.5 million backed on their Kickstarter. There's a whole bunch of hype things there left to unlock. At the minute, the stretch goals stretch all the way up to 1.7 million, where the base from their poster child statue is going to be available. Looks incredible. I suggest you go and check it out. Also,
you said 1.5 million?
$1.5 million.
What? I didn't realize it was 1.5 million. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue. I was just okay.
$1.5 million. That's increased
All right.
$4 million in the last 24 hours, and they hit $1 million within 12 hours. It's an incredible product. Check it out. Also, check out our sponsors, Mage Hand Press. Mage Hand Press created the Dark Matter expansion for 5e, now available in hardback. If you like space and you like D&D, you need that book. You can buy it online. And using my special code of MHP Scrat, you could save yourself 15%, which, depending on shipping fees and stuff, maybe a lot. I don't know. Also, check out the Deck of Many. I don't know what dollars are. The Deck of Many. Seriously, every time I come to America, I have this problem where the people are like, "Oh, that'll be so many quarters or something," and I'm like, "Help me!" The Deck of Many. Check out the Deck of Many. We're going to be using it for some of our rewards today. The Deck of Many Things is a product of the Deck of Many. You can see the animated moving cards in Alice's hand right there. Is that sun? Is that the sun?
This is the sun.
Yeah. Also check out their spell cards. They have similar spell cards that cast spells while you cast from cantrip through to level 9. And check out their Humblewood setting for 5e. Also available in hardback. And I have it around here. Need to tidy up this room. That's where we're at.
Since Christmas.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I still have like all my candy boxes lying around. Okay.
Shame.
Ring the bell. Ring the bell. One tier 1 sub, which leads me into the hype train. Okay, the hype train is a new Twitch feature. Some of you may be aware of it. Essentially, for our channel, we've set it up so if we get free tier 1 subs or free donations of 100 bits or more, the hype train will start rolling. With the amount that this has been popping off, we may have to increase the difficulty soon. I don't know. We'll have a look. If we get three of those donations from 3 separate people, the hype train starts rolling. Straight away, if we hit... There's 5 levels of sub train. You can donate bits and subs to hit different levels of the sub hype train. And every level we hit gives you who donate an emote, depending on what level we hit. So you can get level 1 emote, through to a level 5 emote. I know level 5 is a pony. A unicorn, level 4 is a dragon, level 1 is a griffin, and I think level 2 is like a Bigfoot style thing. Can't remember what level 3 is though.
I love that this is your Bigfoot.
Hey!
So,
He's Bigfoot.
yes, this is Bigfoot. It reminds me of that thing after Buffy that used to walk across the screen.
We are also going to throw some rewards on here though. So, if we hit level 1 on the hype train, everybody gets 2 advantages. All the players get 2 advantages. If we hit level 2 on the hype train, then we don't get any advantages, but instead Alice gets 10 disadvantages to use against us. If we hit level 3, we all get 2 natural successes. If we hit level 4, we all draw from the Deck of Many. And if we hit level 5, all of those things happen. Okay?
I got some good ideas for the Deck of Many, actually, because these two would actually work really well.
Disclaimer, the Deck of Many will be heavily altered to suit this system and what Alice has planned. We're not playing 5e, so it can be a bit difficult sometimes when it's like, hey, you get 1d3 wish spells. We'll alter that heavily. But hey, we'll see how it goes. It's been crazy. The hype train so far, we've had 3 level 5 hype trains, 3 level 4 hype trains, and 1 level 1 hype train since got started. Y'all are crazy. Let's go round and say hello to everyone. Unfortunately, Jen can't be with us today. A little bit of an emergency has pulled them away. But you should go and check out their tweet on Twitter. Go and check out their. That's a different apple together. Go and check out their feed on Twitter. They're a wonderful role player.
Oh my god.
Hey Matt, how you doing this morning?
Good morning. Suddenly, my assessment is super real and super relevant. We're all here. We're all awake. And it is very good. Hi, my name's Matt. I'm a filmmaker, and yeah, I just like to tell stories. And this is my second season here on the Academy. I'm gonna be playing Wyatt. He's a cowboy, and he is where he's supposed to be. That's it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I've posted your Twitter and your Twitch. I should go check it out if you don't already follow Matt on this. And also, chat, please don't call me out on that fitter. Okay, comment, please.
I'm calling you out in the Zoom chat, so don't even.
Okay. Real quick, don't feel bad, dude. I was playing D&D Tuesday or Monday night this week, and I took a drink of bourbon, and then I just started talking without swallowing the bourbon, and it just fell out of my mouth. So
Elegance.
I couldn't believe what happened. Okay. Anyways,
Talking
there you go.
Just fell out of my
It just
mouth.
what?
Wow.
I was like, wow, I guess I just couldn't wait to start talking again.
Talking of elegance, what a brilliant subway to Tilinia.
Seeing that segue myself, however, maybe that's just because it's very, very Thursday today, as I'm sure we all feel. But yeah, I have no idea what's going to happen today. I cannot predict anything Alice is going to do, and have never been able to do that successfully over this whole campaign. But that just makes it even more fun. So I'm incredibly excited for today's session. I play Lamorna, who is the Strider of the group, and she's just trying to get everyone to stay calm and not, shoot random women just because they happen to have blood on their hands.
She wasn't random. She was specifically targeted.
It could have been coincidental. She could have been washing them for all of our crewmates who are alive somewhere else on the island. You don't know.
Her jaw went.
Yeah, we don't judge.
What movie was that? Lucifer
Mummy.
or something?
The Ring, maybe.
Maybe one of those. Where
Even so, we don't judge supernatural ladies just trying to do their washing now.
You know the mummy when it. Hey, look, it's a person.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
What you're saying is we need a cat.
Yes, we need a cat.
Yeah. Or Brendan Fraser.
I don't know about that. We can see. We'll see. Well, let's see if he's available.
If you pick the hero card,
anyone
Brendan
got a
Fraser can turn up.
Has
And a
anyone
Swede.
got?
You heard, chat. You heard.
Listen. If we pick the hero card, it better be like, I don't know, Ryan Gosling or something.
I'm sorry. Are you saying Ryan Gosling is more heroic than Brendan Fraser?
Yeah,
I don't know if anyone
that doesn't
anymore.
happen.
Hey,
I don't know if anyone more
Is
heroic.
Ryan Gosling the Deadpool guy?
No, that's Ryan Reynolds. Different Ryan.
No, I don't know. We don't really watch many things with Ryan Gosling in Scratch.
I'm sorry. It's still not Brendan Fraser from The Mummy.
Yeah.
Okay, look. If anyone has Brendan Fraser's agent's details, please
Where
send
the
them to
hell
me
is
in a
the hero
DM,
card?
and we'll see if we can get him on the show. Alice.
Can you imagine just rock up? Okay. Well, I can't find the hero card. It's me. It's Alice. Hello. It's White Rabbit Pig. That's is where you can find me on Twitter. I am your DM for today. Excuse me. Apparently, I've woken up with a cough, complete tiredness, and I'm trying to put coffee straight to my veins. Otherwise, I'm also a photographer as well as a DM in the other half of this channel. You can check out my Patreon over there and all my photography stuff. Otherwise, I think I'm all good to go. Is everyone else all good to go? I'm now reading that I need to get Keanu Reeves. What? Hang on.
You have John Wick in the camp?
Can you imagine John Wick come and destroy the island? Never mind.
So I'm just gonna say it. John Wick 3, disappointment. I said it. I said it. Okay, I said it.
Ooh, it's a very controversial stream
I know.
today.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Especially because you think Ryan Gosling is also Ryan Reynolds, so Ryan Gosling is Deadpool.
Right
just
now,
wouldn't work.
there are way too many Ryans and way too many Chris's in Hollywood. I think we can all agree on that.
Mm-hmm.
I love Chris though.
Okay, I'm gonna
Which one?
start.
You never
Scrat, you go make coffee because you clearly
Okay, I'm
need
gonna go make
it.
some coffee. I'm
And get me some as well, please.
Okie dokie.
Right.
Scrat has been sent to his room.
He's just like, go now. So Lamorna and get out.
Whoa, wait a second. The crossover we've all been waiting for.
Crossover is real. Lamorna and Wyatt, you both headed into the forest, armed to the teeth, I think, as you headed back in the same direction. And as you do, you can very much head along the same path. There is almost a bizarre silence around you. You hear no birds, there's no breeze at all. In fact, the most you can hear is each other's breathing and your feet sort of cracking the leaves and the twigs beneath your feet. And you've been walking now probably, I'd say about 20 minutes. You can just about still see the edge of the forest line and the beach on the horizon. But what is it you are looking for?
I mean, I think I'm following Wyatt, who is supposedly going to see if that woman is still there.
Right. No. So we're keeping a lookout, see if we see her floating down the waterway. But we are on our way back to where I did the deed.
The incident.
The incident location.
You walk for a bit and the stream itself starts to widen. It starts to get wider and wider as you head towards the lagoon. This is a direction you've been in twice now. And the dog just trotting along fairly happily, really. Tail not wagging, but seems fine. And as you approach the clearing, you're not quite there yet, but running down the stream, almost in a ghostly sort of movement, is this white shirt stained with blood, running over the small cobbles as it goes.
Was this the shirt the woman was wearing when I shot her?
This wasn't her shirt.
We did not see the woman at all.
Not yet. You're not there yet.
Okay. If Lamorna hadn't seen the shirt yet, I'm gonna point out the shirt.
And this looks like a man shirt. This looks very, very big, very broad, would have fit a broader man. There is blood that seems to be sort of around the stomach area and up to just below the shoulder. But
Is the shirt like cut in any way?
It's not cut at all. In fact, it looks pristine. Like it is completely white. There is no discoloration. It's as if it had been made that day, but it is in fact covered in blood.
I suggest we carry on upstream. Unless you have a hankering to expand your wardrobe.
You can see the dog like pouring at it in the water, but he's not trying to grab it. He's just.
Do you feel like we should touch it and make sure it's real?
By all means, go ahead.
Okay. That might seem crazy,
No, not at all.
but I've seen too many things that I thought was real and I took for granted, I think. Only to find out they weren't. So I'm gonna go over to the edge of the water, and if I need to grab a stick or something, I'll do that.
You probably don't need to grab a stick, but if you would rather, you can. There's so many lying around, you can sort of scoop it up, and as you pull it, you hear that water drain off of the stick material as you hold it up in the air.
I'll probably like let it scoot across the water and then like let it drain on the ground so it doesn't make too much of a ruckus.
Yeah, you sort of pull it over, and you can hear it sort of thud on some of the leaves a little bit, but it is indeed a real shirt.
Does it have a smell to it?
The only smell I can say it probably has is that it's very like a salty sea smell. Considering this is in fresh water, it smells of salt.
Okay. All right. And it doesn't have any particular kind of musk about it or anything?
There is no musk.
Just the natural oils
Just
from
natural
somebody's skin, you know?
Are you quite finished sniffing that shirt?
I'm just... I thought you was a hunter.
I am, but I don't hunt shirts.
It's what's in the shirt. That's important.
Can you follow the scent
Or
of
not.
blood? I tell you what, though. What might not be a bad idea. What if the dog smells the blood?
Yeah, we can have the dog track this, but I wasn't trying to track for anything. I was trying to make sure it didn't belong to anybody I recognize.
Alice, did any of the crew have a particular like for gentlemen's toiletries?
Probably not by the time you had finished. So all the musk was out. The musk was gone. The
But I mean, did Luke have like an obsession with, I don't know, snuff powder or something? Like,
no.
any sense
If anything,
we would associate?
you would have got it with the captain, but you can't smell any of
A
that.
snuff man, I see. I suggest we just keep moving for now. Take the shirt with us, by all means. If anything, it could be useful if we try and construct some temporary accommodation while we're here.
I don't feel right about it.
Well, then,
If it's not something I don't recognize, I don't want to have it on me.
Lamorna shrugs and she just holds out her hand to take the shirt. Then.
Okay. If it's cursed, it's on you.
Well, that's fine. I'm sure I can handle a little curse. And she just kind of wrings it out a bit and stuffs it in her. Probably got like an old drawstring bag or something. Sailor's bag.
And you can both keep walking. And are you heading specifically to the lagoon? Are you still following the river, or?
Yeah. Back to the spot where I shot the woman.
Okay.
Lamorna, if that curses you and turns you into some kind of walrus or something.
I think she just kind of looks blank for a few seconds and just blinks. And then gives him a side eye. That would be interesting. I wonder what it feels like to have tusks.
Yeah.
So where's your sea witch then?
Over here. And right through these trees here.
You can head through, you can break the tree line. And that lagoon is there, the waterfall's still running. You see ahead of you a body in the water. The body of this woman. A washerwoman, face down, floating. And you can see a basket by the side of the lagoon itself. It's sort of, a lot of the clothes are in the water with her, and otherwise they're sort of perched along the shoreline. And up on the rock, washing more clothes, is another woman. The same woman. Taking the same coats, taking the same jackets. It's a captain's jacket, soaking it in the water, and bashing it against the rock. Again, doesn't seem to pay any attention to you. Doesn't really even seem to realize you're there. But it's Wyatt, particularly for you, this is bizarre because it's almost the exact same scene. And you see one version of her dead, drifting in the pool, and then you see another version of her as if she was alive again. Seeing her as you did the very first time.
These women gonna make me run out of bullets.
Really? Just gonna keep shooting them?
What do you ascertain from this particular scene that you are looking upon right now, Lamorna?
Well, the one thing I am 100% sure of is that putting lead into the back of these women's heads clearly doesn't do anything.
It does something. We just don't know what it does yet.
Well, as experimentation goes, it's not the best method.
Okay.
Why don't we just keep walking for a while, see if we see anything else? Maybe see if we can work out where she's come from.
Okay.
Have you gone any further than this point? Was there anything else of note here?
Did I go any further?
No, you didn't go any further than this.
I hadn't gone that further than this.
Alright, well...
Lead on, Lamorna. And I'll keep my eye on the washing lady that I already killed once.
Okay. And I will continue onwards, but I guess I will take an arc staying in the tree line.
So you meaning to go past the lagoon, like
yes,
pass around it?
To carry on further.
You both keep to the tree line, and you keep walking. As you do, you sort of almost come in front of her vision. She's on the complete other side of the lagoon to you. As you pass, she sort of looks up for a moment and stares at you with these very grey eyes, still hitting the rock, with this coat and this shirt, scrubbing it. Gives you a little bit of a smile and looks back down and continues to wash as you walk past.
See, just don't interrupt her. Everything's fine.
Listen, you just wait until she opens her mouth.
Well, she won't if you don't bother her. Let's just see if there's anything else weird around here that we can make some sense of. If not, we can come back.
All right.
And you start to walk away. And both of you, could you please roll me a brains, please?
Oh dear. That was not the one I was hoping
Oh
you would ask.
dear.
Oh dear.
Hold on. Have we got a whole party of dumbasses?
Hang on.
That's a yes.
See, Lamorna, that's not that bad.
Considering my statistics, it's not that bad.
My my roll 20 always takes
Is it?
forever to
No,
launch.
sometimes it takes ages to load as well.
Okay, there we go. All right, I don't have a negative bonus. I have a negative bonus in balance.
Okay.
Lucky because I almost used balance.
Oh,
Right.
why couldn't you? That would make me happier.
I've got good bonuses in one thing I use all the time and one thing I never use.
Okay. So you both see this as you walk. And you see her walk down to the water, sort of half submerge herself sort of up to her waist as she starts laying some of the shirts and jackets and what look like trousers into this lagoon as she scrubs them. And Wyatt and Lamorna, as you sort of walk past, literally as you leave the lagoon, she pulls out a cowboy hat and starts dipping it in the water and scrubbing it clean.
Is it my cowboy hat? It was just some other cowboy's hat.
I mean, do you want to roll another breeze
Yes.
to stay in
This place just happens to be a cowboy death trap. She eats cowboys.
How many
I rolled the
cowboys?
brains.
You got a nat.
I'm zoning in on this one.
You sort of stop and you look back. She doesn't look at you. She looks very much focused on what she's doing, and you can hear her humming just sort of as she's cleaning these things. And as you touch the top of your hat, just to check it's still there, you sort of feel it on your head, and it's identical. Completely
that's
identical.
Lamar, that's my fucking cowboy hat. I'm gonna shoot this bitch.
No, take a man's cowboy hat.
Do you see me having a breakdown about my tricorn? No, because I can live without it.
I don't
Where
know
you
where
are
she
wearing
got.
your hat.
Because I lost mine like ages ago.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine.
The other girl didn't have no hat. All right, and now this one does, and that one's my hat.
I mean, maybe that's a statement of intent. Maybe she's saying, oh, well, if you shoot me in the face again, I'll make sure it's not just the hat I'm washing.
Slowly takes all of the clothes away each time you wash it.
Wait, what do you mean? What else is she gonna wash?
I'm saying, maybe she's saying that she'll murder you two and wash the rest of your clothes like she might have done everyone else's. I don't know. Your hat is on your head. Are you saying that now you need two cowboy hats? Are you going to layer them up?
No,
A cowboy hat sandwich, perhaps?
you know that is my cowboy hat.
I do, but it's just the last on a long list of things that don't make sense. Now,
So what are we gonna do about it? How'd you get that?
How did she get any of what she's got right there? We need to
She's a
find
witch.
out. Look, we might find some answers if we keep looking. If we don't, I'll tell you what, we'll come back and I'll ask her for you.
Okay.
Okay?
And you keep walking, and it's as if she doesn't even notice you're still there as you walk away. And as you leave the lagoon, it's maybe a few steps when the splashing of the washing of the clothes is gone. And you walk deeper into this forest, and the further you get, the more spaced out the trees are, almost as if purposefully planted. There are no branches other than at the very top. And it gets a little bit darker, mainly because the leaves overhead are just blocking out all of the light as you walk deeper and deeper into this forest, and it starts to slope down a tiny bit, nothing dramatic, but it doesn't seem to be as flat as it was anymore. You can see some drops and dips into just sort of like where maybe the water is gathered and earth has fallen away. You can see some more rocks, and I need you both to roll me a beyond, please.
Okay.
Sure. Later, I'd like to roll a brawn to see if she weighs the same as a duck.
You may do that,
And if
That's
she
all.
is, then she's
Turn
made
you
of
into a
wood.
newt.
which means
We can build a bridge out of her.
we can build a bridge out of her.
Wait, what am I rolling?
And what do you do? A beyond, please.
Yeah.
Okay. Why you don't see this straight away, but Lamorna, you smell it first. and you can smell burning. You smell as if it's like, at first it smells like a campfire, but then there's a sort of a bizarre, almost like a damp smell, the smell that you get after it's rained in a forest. That sort of very earthy lingering that hovers in the air. And it's the smell of burning leaves, damp leaves. And then, not so long after, Wyatt, you can see that the dog he's stopped in his tracks. And he's just halted. And he's got this very sort of wide-eyed stare as he's looking at the ground. He's not sniffing. He's not barking. He's just halted, sort of looked down, looking back up at in your direction as you both keep walking. And then you two start to smell that burning.
Do I see any signs of smoke?
You see no signs of smoke at all.
Does it smell like somebody's burning leaves? Or
Yeah,
is
it smells like if someone had a campfire and then chucked a load of damp leaves on top. It's got a really earthy smell mixed in with a very smoky smell.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a clean burning fire.
Right.
And you can see this dog is sort of circling something on the floor, padding around, sort of eyes wide, but again, not barking, not sniffing, nothing.
He's just circling there. I'm going to lean down and ask him what he's got. Try to get a closer look, see if there's anything to...
He sort of looks to you, starts to dig. It's not through earth, it's through these leaves. And he's digging and digging through these damp leaves that you can see sort of litter the floor everywhere. And there's a moment where his little paw sort of comes across something and pulls back to the dirt. And set in the ground, smoking and burning, is a giant paw print.
Well, we've got to find what made that.
What do you mean we got to find what made this?
You don't want to know what made this?
I want to know how to get off this damn island.
What if it's connected?
How? How, Lamorna? How would that be connected?
I mean, this whole damn landmass, island, whatever it is clearly touched by some kind of otherness. I don't know if it's something...
Well, I don't want to touch it.
You don't have to touch it. Okay, let's think about it this way. What if whatever made that paw print comes up to our camp in the middle of the night, and we've got no idea how to deal with it because we don't know what it is?
Most things die or stop moving or go away when you shoot them.
Has anything on this island reacted in such a way to...
That lady back there, but then there's another one. I've got more ammunition.
What if that happens to this, whatever left this paw print? Or what if every time you shoot this terrifying predatorial beast, it multiplies?
Eventually, Shep's gonna have another ship built. As long as he wakes up. Which I think he's gonna.
Alright, let's try this from a different angle. Why do you think this paw print smells of burning? What's walking around here
I don't
singeing
know.
leaves?
Everything here is a witch.
My goodness. Look,
I
just want
can't
to know-
imagine. Do you know of any kind of like lore or story where this happened? All the stories I know where somebody like a bad guy came in and did some bad things, and then a good guy stood up to him and overcame that challenge.
With a gun.
Usually, yes, or with his fists or the heel of his boot.
Well, I'm sorry to report, I don't think this is a challenge that can be overcome in such ways. And I understand that might be difficult for you to process right now, so I'm going to give you time and space to let that percolate.
As you are arguing this, you can see the dog is digging again. sort of maybe about a foot away from this spot, and effectively digs up the same thing, removing the leaves.
How big is this paw
another-
print?
This is big.
Like,
Put it this way.
like Jurassic Park, like
No,
oh
no,
wow,
no.
they're
It's
standing in
it's not a T-Rex. This isn't what's it called? Land of the Lost, whatever it is.
Being Strider, can I try and identify what manner of creature may have left it? Whether it
Yeah.
looks like a dog or a cat or like a
Yeah,
duck.
roll me a balance.
If it's a giant cat, I'm just gonna peace out.
Well, now I want to change my mind. You sort of kneel down and you look at this, and from the other paw print that this dog is digging up, you can see that it looks like the two back legs and the stride in between is about a foot of these huge dog paws, almost wolf-like, but these are definitely dog paws.
And would I have heard of any kind of superstition that would link this kind of acrid burning smell to the paw prints of this creature?
Roll a brains for me.
No.
You've definitely heard stories. I know you've heard stories for sure.
Oh, not on that one.
Damn
no.
it!
Oh, can I use an advantage?
Yes,
Yeah,
you can.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
That's as good as I can do with that.
Wow.
there is a sort of an idea that lingers at the back of your memory, something that you have heard of. It's very, very distant. You've only heard of it once or twice, and you've heard a lot of different versions. It tends to be very different for people on land as it is at sea. So you're not sure of the exact meaning. But it's more that in your memory you can't remember anything until you close your eyes. It's almost like you blink slowly. And it's like you're seeing it somewhere in this forest. You see this sort of almost midnight fur. You hear this breathing and panting as something is charging through the forest. This shaggy black fur, these gleaming teeth of a dog, maybe a dog, something like that. Some people say it belongs on the moors, some people say it's even seen at sea, which should make no sense. But more the link that you have to it is there is one word at the back of your head that you can hear a familiar voice telling you. It just says crossroads.
Well, it might explain why our companion is so interested. This is some kind of black dog. I don't know. Do you have those where you're from?
Do I have any superstitions about black dogs and omens of death?
Shucks, bar guests. Any of those ringing a bell?
Might be from the only What would I know of omens of death from the natives?
Natives wise, you would know more the howlings that are the sign of.
Wait, say it again. Sorry.
It's more the natives would have taught you that it's the howling that you hear, and when you hear that howling, it's a very particular one, and it's almost a warning rather than a symbol itself. So you wouldn't have heard about the paw prints, you wouldn't have heard about necessarily the dog itself, but you know that if there is a howling at midnight, it is an unnatural creature. And it's definitely it's one of those things that you were told it's not like any howl you've ever heard. When you hear it, you'll know. And it is a dog, very large in size, not quite as big as a wolf, but there's been so many different variations on how big this creature gets. Some people say it grows, some people say it shrinks. But it's the sign of the crossroads, the in-between.
Could it be? This is just an idea. Why this place we're in, this island, could it be some? And I don't believe in the sort of things Shepherd does. Call me a lack of tradition, but this place, could it be some sort of purgatory? Is this a place between life and death, where we find ourselves? And I hate to say it, but
You think we might have died on that ship?
no, that's what I'm saying. What if that isn't decided yet? It might be that the rest of our crew have passed on, explaining the clothes, explaining why they're gone. And what if the people here are also stuck between life and death? What if that's why that woman didn't die when you shot her?
I guess that would make sense.
If there's a supernatural creature that is that kind of space between the mundane and the supernatural here, then I don't know. There's something off about this whole place, and it doesn't feel quite real.
This is outside of my league, outside of my expertise. Most everything that I've ever come face to face with has been of this world, well, of where we came from. Something natural. There was strange things that would happen sometimes, but we thought it was all just, sometimes the natives just understood the land better than us. I'm not really religious, and so, whenever the preachers be talking about heaven and hell and all that kind of stuff, it seems like tales for the simple-minded. Keep them in line.
Sometimes people look for a way to rationalize what they don't understand, and they call it unnatural simply because they can't find a reason or an explanation. That's why I want to find out everything I can about this island. It might not make sense if you abide by the rules of where we've come from, but what if this place doesn't work by those rules? If we can find someone else who we can talk to, anyone else who's stuck here. I mean, it might be that some other...
Do you really want to talk to that lady back there?
I'd rather find someone with, well, maybe who's a little more friendly. I don't know. I feel like I'd rather speak to her than to the black dog.
I suppose that's true.
Maybe we carry on a little bit further. Part of me wants to follow these tracks, but that also seems like a bit of a death wish.
As you both stand there, thank you for that roll in chat. You both get that shiver down your spine. That sort of tingling at the end of your fingertips. And it's like someone turns the sun out. Everything around you goes dark. It's like it's nighttime in this forest. And somewhere, it's as if you can hear it stood right next to your ear, but there's nothing there. It's the sound of heavy breathing, of someone running, of someone sprinting through this forest. You almost hear like this thunder of someone's heart in their chest, as you can hear the crack of sticks, the crack of crispy leaves beneath the feet. this moment where you feel like your hand is actually touching bark, as if being pushed off of it, trying to keep momentum going. And in this dark forest, all the way in the distance, you hear a clang and a rattle as you see a light, a lantern, sprint across the way. And we're going to hop over to Douglas. And Douglas, you have just seen Elizabeth. And if I remember correctly, you sprinted over to her.
Aye, that was right. It's all coming back now.
And you sprint away from the camp where Shepard and James were. You sprint away and you see this young girl, Elizabeth. She's got her arms full of what looks like driftwood or firewood, and her eyes are wide in shock at seeing you as you tear towards her.
Hey now! I'm gonna like slow down as I get closer. Hey now, young lass. You well done for stopping. I appreciate that.
You can see her hands are shaking because you can see hear the rattle of the sticks as she just stops and stares at you.
All right, now come on, calm down. All right. Tell you what. Why didn't you tell me about one of your family or something like that? Any brothers or sisters? I don't know why I'm going Irish. Just get back into the Scottish there. There we go. You got any brothers? Or sisters, perhaps?
As she just shakes her head.
Alright. How about your mammy or your pappy?
And she slowly nods. She's like, I'm very, very sorry, sir, but who are you?
Now, that's an interesting question. Didn't you just know me from the ship a wee while back? The one that washed up on the shore?
Are you from the ship that washed up on the shore?
Aye. But so were you, in my memory.
I live here with my parents. I don't...
Alright. Don't you worry, I don't mean you any harm, I promise. This here knife, it's only for cooking. Alright, I don't do no damage with it.
She again nods. Are you here on your own?
No. Some of my crew survived.
Where are they?
They're around. Some of them are a little sad, you know. Mooring your ship. Not the happiest occasion, and some of them are feeling a wee bit down about it. There's 4 of us in total.
And she sort of, her eyes dart around.
Not with me at the minute. I went to go. We've made a wee camp on the beach, and I was just going to see what supplies I could take from our ship. Hence this here sack and barrel. Now, it's interesting that I recognize you so well, but you don't have any brothers or sisters. Tell me, do you have any cousins who might look like you?
No, it's just me and my ma and pa.
Alright, little girl, now would you mind telling me your name?
My name's Elizabeth.
Aye. I thought.
What, sir, what is your name? What
I'm
may I call
Douglas
you?
Lachlan.
It is good to meet you. Mr. Lackland, and she does like almost like a little.
All right,
giggle
none of that
curtsy.
Mr. Lachlan business. I won't have any Dougie either. You can call me Douglas or Cook.
I wouldn't dream of calling you Dougie, sir.
Aye, good. You live here with your parents.
She nods.
Where are we exactly?
Well, this is the island.
What, the British Islands, the Easter Islands, the Birthday Islands?
I don't know. I've been here as long as I can remember.
Alright, alright. Do you have a house or anything like that?
We do.
Alright.
In fact, Ma's cooking supper at the moment.
You have-
I went to get wood for the fire.
You have sinks and things like that, basins, you know.
We do.
Alright, alright. Tell me this. If you drain your basin, does the water go like that? Or does the water go like that?
It just goes. I haven't really paid attention to it much, if I'm honest.
Well, just visualize it for a second. Just imagine you're draining your basin. Does it seem weird if it goes like that? Or does it seem weird if it goes like that? For me, it feels weird if it goes like that. You know, I feel like the water should naturally go like that.
And she's sort of watching your finger as you do it. She's like, maybe like that. And
goes-
she just starts mimicking.
Like that. Right.
Maybe.
Clockwise. Northern hemisphere. Well, that's a start at least.
Are you okay? Do you need some help? Do you need some food? Mum always told me I had to help people in need.
I'm not in any rush, to be honest. I didn't want to go. I shouldn't go wandering around too far without letting my crew know where I am. You know, they'll worry. I imagine your ma's the same. If you went off wandering without telling her where you'd gone, she'd worry, wouldn't she?
She does, but it's okay because I'm only around the corner. I don't go much further than this.
You're only around the corner. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we go our separate ways? I'll head back to my crew, and you head back to your ma. And why don't you tell her that we're here? But when you do, why don't you take this as a gift from me to you, all right? And you can show your ma that I gave it to you. I'm gonna give her my hagstone.
She sort of holds it out. I shouldn't take gifts. I haven't got anything to give you.
Don't worry, you don't need to give me anything else. This is merely a token of goodwill. Your ma will understand. You see, at sea, stones with holes in are said to save a life.
Oh.
That's a big gift I'm giving you there. It's magic in that item. But not the witchy kind of magic that you need to burn people for. Just the kind of superstitious kind of magic that everyone has. You know, like if you butter a slice of bread, it'll always land face down and all that sort of stuff.
Okay. Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, Elizabeth.
And she sort of backs away from you a little bit, and you see her then start to not run. It's almost like a light jog.
Alright, I'm gonna start walking back towards the camp. As calm as if nothing had happened.
You
But shitting it on the inside.
oh, you head back to the camp, and Shepard and James aren't there. They're gone.
Alright.
And the fire is smoking as if it's been extinguished.
Well, we can soon fix that, I hope. I saw wee James gathering driftwood and firewood all day yesterday, so there should be plenty of that. I'll just build the fire back up a little bit and try and get it going again with a wee huff and puff.
Yeah, I'd say you can do that fairly easy. You've built fires.
Right. I'm just gonna take the biscuits out of the sack and almost start like toasting them slightly just to dry them out, and like balance them on a log or something nearby.
Yeah, you could try out the biscuits if you really want to try out the biscuits.
I don't want them to go all mushy.
And you can sit there for a long time. Shepherd doesn't come back, nor does James. And after a while, you see over in the distance Elizabeth sort of walking again in that very long white dress, the one she's always worn, sort of trotting towards you. Seems to have something in her hands.
All right.
And she comes to the edge of the, she won't come closer to you, but she's like, hello, sir.
Douglas will obviously be mid-song, which he won't stop when he notices Elizabeth. He'll pretend he's surprised. We're homeward bound to Liverpool town. Goodbye, fare ye well. Goodbye, fare ye well.
Sir?
We're all... hello. Oh, Elizabeth, it's good to see you.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but, and she looks at you. Am I okay to come any closer?
That's an interesting question. Is that your sort of manners that your mammy's taught you, to ask people if you can come closer to their camps? Most people would just stride up.
Well, it's rude. It's like knocking at a door, but you don't have a door. She sort of looks around.
Aye, but I wouldn't say this is exactly my premises. I'm just... I have a fire, and you're welcome to share it if you're cold.
Oh, okay. I'm not cold. I'm just... And she sort of walks forward and holds out what looks like a chipped bowl full of stew. And she holds it. She's like, I made it with my ma.
Oh, well that's awful kind of you. Tell me, does your ma cook a lot?
I cook a lot more at the moment.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm learning.
Well, that's good. You should learn. It's a good skill to have. Do you know I'm a cook for profession? That's what I do for my job.
You do?
Aye.
And then she suddenly looks very nervous about giving you this bowl of stew.
Now then, alright. Let's not mess about then. Let's try this stew, and I'll give you marks out of 10.
Okay. And she sort of like hands the bowl over and almost awkwardly sits on a log sort of next to you.
Now
Not next to you, but like more opposite.
Before I dip in, young Elizabeth, what exactly can I expect from this dish? Are we looking at a savoury stew? Or are we perhaps looking for sweetness? What have you gone here? What am I about to enjoy? What sensations might my taste buds undergo?
It's rabbit.
It's a rabbit stew.
I mean, there's some...
You could say maybe a casserole.
I don't know what that is.
Ah, casserole's like a stew with meat in it.
So then it's a casserole. There are some other things in there. There's a lot of carrots and potato peelings. We ran out of potatoes.
Potato peelings, alright, alright. And what kind of spices have you used to bring out the flavours? Well, very dignified, I hear, in the cooking industry, you know. Elizabeth, we have to consider all these things when we're offering food to our guests.
We don't have spices.
Do you not know? So let's see. What did you say? Said rabbit casserole, carrots, and spuds.
There's a bit of horseradish in there as well.
Horseradish too, eh? Horseradish. Horseradish has got a nice tang to it. It has. Well, let's try it together, shall we? And I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna say now. I want you to think when you taste it, Elizabeth. Okay? What sensation are you feeling? Does it taste bitter? Does it taste sweet? Is it perhaps sour? Okay? I want you to think in those terms. Go with me. I'm gonna try and teach you something. I'm gonna scoop out a bit of soup and offer it to her.
Yeah, she takes it and puts it in her mouth. It tastes like rabbit, sir.
Right, but what does rabbit taste like? Not bitter, is it? But it's not sweet either.
It tastes like rabbit, sir.
I'll give you that. Rabbit tastes like rabbit. For me, I always find my meat tastes ever so slightly sweet. You can bring it out with sugar or you can sour it down. It's one of them versatile foods. And I'm going to, now that she's had a sip, I'm going to take a sip of the casserole myself.
She looks very confused by this whole thing. She's like, I was only meant to give you something warming.
I appreciate that. I do. I'm just on with you, Elizabeth. It's lonely out here. My crew haven't returned yet. And just like I told you earlier about your mammy worrying about you, I'm beginning to worry about them. But I'm keeping myself busy by drying out biscuits and singing myself a song. Do you know any songs?
No, sir.
Oh, you have to learn. You have to learn. You're surrounded by the sea on this island, and the sea loves songs.
And she looks very wide-eyed, more very confused by you as a human. And is just very much...
Anyway, I'm going to show you something. Don't worry. I understand what I'm saying is confusing. I'm a strange man from a strange place with all sorts of strange things going on. I get it. But I'm going to show you something now that I think you'll appreciate. Alright? I'm going to dip down to my special spice stash that I took from the ship. And I'd like to take my most valuable spice. Sugar. Even more valuable than jasmine in this time period. Now the thing about carrots and the rabbit is that they're very sweet. So with just a pinch of this wee white powder, look, put a little bit on your finger, just a tiny bit, and give it a taste. Very sweet, isn't it?
It's sugar.
Aye, you're familiar with sugar. Good. Just a wee bit of sugar. Bring all the sweetness out of your carrots.
I should really get back, sir. My ma will be worried.
Alright, fine. I'm gonna put my spices away.
Yeah, it's like, she looks almost like not scared of you, but she's very confused by what's happening. She's like, if you wish to sit by a warm fire, though, my ma told me to tell you you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Now, tell me, is that invitation just to me or to my whole crew?
And she looks around again, like she doesn't look too convinced you have a crew.
I
She's
know
like,
they're not here yet. Trust me, they'll be back.
It's for everyone.
For everyone.
We've got quite a big house.
Elizabeth,
You know, for
an island.
family.
Aye, a small family in a deserted island. Well, Elizabeth, that is the most cordial of invitations, and I shall consider it considerably as I take my afternoon here by the fire. I do hope you have the very best of evenings, and I look forward to our next meeting. And I'm going to put
it's
on
not
a very
deserted.
formal It's not deserted, you say?
No.
Well, I mean, except for you and your family, right?
Well, no, there's others.
Oh, really? Is there a population, is there?
Not really a population, but there's a few families.
A few families? How many families would you say?
And she sort of looks like she's trying to count. Well,
You need
there's,
some extra fingers.
he's like, well, there's George, and then his mum and dad, and then there's Rebecca and Sarah, and she starts listing off all of these people.
A small community, at least.
Yes.
Perhaps me and my crew will be along just a little later. As soon as I gather them, perhaps we'll come and say hello. And I'd very much look forward to meeting your community.
You're very welcome to.
Appreciate that, I really do.
And she smiles. She's like, in case when it gets dark, I don't come back out again. I'm not allowed. It's after curfew. But you see that over there? And she points over to what looks like a huge boulder in the sand, and this very sort of wiry tree. She's like, if you head through there, on the corner, you'll see a small path, and we're at the end of that.
A small path and you're around the path. Alright. Well, I will consider that. And I'll try not to come by too late. I'd hate to be be rude, as you put it. If it's too late, we'll wait until morning, and we'll come and say hello in morning. All right? Now, Elizabeth, you go and have fun. Have a good night's sleep, and I'll see you either later on or tomorrow.
She nods, and she sort of not backs away, but she does sort of.
You heard the song, didn't you? Goodbye, fare ye well. Goodbye, fare ye well. Where all them duties they will come down. Hurrah, me boys, we're homeward bound. And I'll
she runs
carry
away.
on singing a song about going home.
As she sort of, you see her run across the beach, through that rock and that wiry tree, and head off into the distance. So what would Douglas do?
Exactly what he was doing before she turned. He will eat the soup.
It tastes pretty good. It's just there's not
Yeah,
a lot
I'm
of like spices in it or anything.
I'm not gonna add the sugar to it like I indicated to her. It's far too expensive to just use on myself. But I was trying to make a friend and she didn't take well to it, so whatever.
She didn't understand what you were doing.
I'm gonna carry on doing exactly what I was doing before she came, waiting for my crew to come back. I'm gonna carry on singing away, drying out my biscuits, and if it gets towards meal time, maybe I'll try and cook something up. What did I take from the ship? I took a sack full of biscuits and a barrel of...
You took some pots and pans and everything as well.
I did. Actually make a stew. Oh, they I have stew twice. I'll ponder what I should make.
Eating twice in one day is probably nice.
And
Plethora of spice at our hands. Make all sorts of things. Ooh.
and
Are there any of them conies left what Wyatt shot yesterday?
yeah, probably. There's already one left.
Gonna put one in a covered pot and start it roasting on the fire.
And you do. And Lamorna and Wyatt, you're in darkness as this lantern sort of runs along the horizon, sort of the edge of this forest, and you can hear that breathing louder and louder in your ear, that sort of ragged breath, and you almost feel like both your chests are tight with cold air. And you see this lantern, what looks to be as if it falls, or whatever was holding it falls over, and it rolls and crashes.
I mean, let's go. We've got to go find out who's carrying that.
And take their lantern.
We'll address that when we get there. Come on. And I will take off in that direction.
Okay.
I've got my gun drawn.
You start to sprint. And that familiar sense of ragged breath, that sort of that running through the forest. You've got the dog close by your heels, and you run probably for a few minutes as you come up to this lantern that lays in the dark, sort of amongst these leaves. You can see the flame itself flickering, and slightly further ahead, you can't really see in the dark, but there is a hand that is almost as if it's laying down in the dirt where this person has fallen, but the light only covers as far as the hand.
I will cautiously go and examine if there's a body attached to said hand.
You taking the lantern with you?
Guess we don't have any other source of light, do we? Yeah, I mean, that seems to make practical sense.
You pick up the lantern, and you can feel like the warmth on the metal as if it's been held and lit for a while. you hold it up and you sort of walk towards this hand cautiously. And this person's face down. And it's still a bit too dark. But you can see a mop of red hair and these very broad shoulders. And because it's still very dark, everything's very gloomy. Everything is a lot dark. You can't tell exactly who this is. But this person is face down and this person looks out, like as if that was their last bit of strength.
I'll roll them over.
You roll this person over, and it's not until you get hold of them you realize how heavy they are. You sort of take them by the shoulder and you like heft them over. And you see the chest rise and fall, and Luke lay there. Very sort of his very tired face, eyes closed, that stubbly sort of red beard, the hair all over the place. You see matted leaves into the hair, and he just lies there, breathing. You can see clearly, but it is Luke.
Looks like someone's had a worse time than we did. For once, keep that gun at the ready.
Always do. You ain't gotta even ask.
And I want to take that cold, soggy shirt out of my bag and just like squidge it onto Luke's face and just try and wake him up.
He sort of like stirs a little bit for a while, and then his eyes dart open and he sort of panics, like as if he's not seen anyone for a while, and he backs right up against the tree, sort of throwing whatever throwing the shirt off, wondering what the hell it is. And he backs up, and he sort of can't see through. He's like, "Who's there?"
It's me. It's Lamorna. Now, keep yourself quiet. What were you running from?
And he slows. I don't know, but I heard footsteps chasing me. Lamorna? It's the cowboy. As he sort of like points at Wyatt. He's like, is there anyone else here? Have you seen the captain?
Haven't seen the captain, however...
Keep your voice down, son.
Aye, Douglas and Shepard and James, they're all here. Let's get you back to camp. Wyatt, do you think that's enough excitement for one evening? We can go scouting again tomorrow. I feel like we should get Luke back safe.
Are you sure that it's... that there is a back?
As in, I meant the camp. I'm sure we can get back. Or if we can't, we'll keep walking.
What happened to the light?
Something unknown. At the end of the day, we can't stay here, can we? Let's just go back.
I would very much like to leave the forest. And he's sort of like, you can see his eyes.
Before we move anywhere, Luke, have you seen any washing women?
And you can see he just slowly nods.
What were they doing?
I mean, they were washing, but it was... I saw your hat, and I thought you were dead. And I saw a lot of our stuff, you know?
I will hold the shirt up. Is this yours?
He looks down at himself, he's fully dressed. No, I don't think so. And he sort of like takes it and tries to have a look in this dull light. He's like, no, too small for me.
What? Did you see any of Luke's clothing in, I know this is a bit of a stretch, in the pile of laundry the washerwoman was washing?
Did I see any of Luke's clothing?
You didn't necessarily see anything specific. A lot of the shirts are very similar. The only really noticeable thing was your cowboy hat and the captain's jacket. You do know that Luke only tends to wear a shirt and trousers because he's just very big and tends to stay warm most of the time anyway. You can see sort of his long red hair, as I said, is matted, but otherwise he doesn't tend to wear much. He's got his heavy boots are on, but this is the first time you've probably seen this man look scared.
I suggest we just walk in the direction of camp for now. If it's not there, we'll come up with something else.
Did you talk to the women?
No, why the hell would I talk to them?
Why indeed?
For any reason. Trying to find help. Trying to see what the hell is going on?
It's like,
No, shut up!
They-
You just told us to be quiet. Oh my goodness.
they have blood on the clothes.
Sorry, I got excited.
They have
Because
blood on the
I-
clothes. What? I don't know. Had they killed someone? They had the captain's jacket.
That's what I saw too.
We don't know for sure. They had Wyatt's hat, but Wyatt still very much has his hat. So let's not jump to any conclusions.
Where did they get a cowboy hat?
Maybe they don't have a cowboy hat. Maybe it's all in your head.
Luke saw it too.
Yes.
Are you in my head, Lamona?
Maybe it can be in all of our heads. I don't know. They could just be showing us what they want us to see.
Am I imagining all of this happening right now? And you also are imagining all of this happening right now, but just separately?
I mean, that could support my purgatory theory.
What the hell are we talking about? I washed up on an island.
So what you're saying is it doesn't really matter what I do in my reality. Because it doesn't affect anybody else.
Well, again, let's not jump to conclusions. Let's just get back to the others, okay?
Also, do you have any food?
Douglas was no doubt making food.
I'm pretty damn hungry.
Let's just go back, alright?
I would like that. And he sort of like holds a hand up to Wyatt to help be pulled up, because he seems that if you can feel like he's shaking, probably from a mixture of cold and exhaustion.
Yeah, I'll pull him up.
Where did you get the lantern?
I washed up with it, and the bizarrest thing, it was still lit. Why is it so dark here?
Does
That's a
he
good question.
seem to be kind of blankly telling the truth? There's nothing about his demeanor that's...
Roll a balance for me.
Oh, okay. I can't say insight check. Oh!
He seems to be telling the truth. If anything, he looks genuinely worried and genuinely confused. I see the dog made it. And he sort of looks over and this dog jumps on him and sort of starts licking his face. And he's like, good boy. He's sort of like scratching him a little bit. He's like, but I would really like to get out of this forest. There's a lot of weird heebie-jeebie things going on in here.
Alright, okay, quickly and quietly.
Have you seen the tall ones? I thought it was you at first.
What? No? Sorry?
The tall people walking around the forest.
Tall people.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was like you with a captain, a shepherd. Shepherd's quite tall. I thought it was from a distance, but as I kind of got closer, they still remained as big as I thought they were going to be. I don't know what this place is, but I hate it.
Let's get back to camp and we can discuss everything we've seen.
I would very much like that.
A lot of things hunt in the dark.
You're telling me? And he sort of stands up and he starts, is it, which way? This way?
And I will start heading back the way we came, but avoiding the lagoon.
Yeah, you can easily circle around. You soon pick up the stream. You can follow the river. And as you lead the way, Wyatt, you can see how awkward Luke is feeling. He's sort of clinging onto that lantern. This place is weird. I've been at sea for years and years, and I've never seen anything like this.
It's very weird. The whole thing. It ain't right.
No. And I don't know where everyone else is. But I knew there was something wrong with the captain, but I didn't think... This isn't exactly where my brain went when I thought about it. He sort of looks around, and you all start to... You can see the tree line. You can see a small fire on the beach. It is getting a little bit darker now, but almost as... You can tell it's evening. So it's almost like you never... The night came upon you almost immediately. It's almost as if it's much lighter outside of the forest. And Luke steps out, takes a big deep breath, he's like, oh, thank God for that. And he sort of starts heading towards the campfire. And as you both step out, somewhere in the distance in the forest, you hear a howl. And I think, Scrat, that is where we'll take our break.
Your thing.
Sounds good too.
Well, everyone, do as we do. Take a short break. Grab yourself a bio, grab a drink, stretch, do all the things, especially if you've been here from the start. If you're at work or something and listening, now would be a great time to take a walk and make a cup of tea, stretch those legs out, and get yourself mobile. We'll be back in 5 minutes. We'll play an ad while we're away, and you can also see some of the new Hero Forge Kickstarter. Well, the poster child of the Hero Forge Kickstarter mini, one of their prototypes. We'll see you in 5 minutes. Oh, hi everyone. On screen at the moment is the poster child for the Hero Forge Kickstarter, which is currently live. I think they've just entered their second 24 hours of being live. The Kickstarter is currently at 1.485 million. We're about to hit 1.5 million. It's doing fantastically well. What you're seeing here isn't a painted mini. That mini is formed by colored resins, mixing them together to create the effects that you can see. This is just a prototype. This isn't one I imagine that's been created for batch distribution as they're hoping to do, or quick distribution at least. I'm not sure. But there's a lot of features here that you can see that will be available on the later Kickstarters, including that rock that the Azamar is standing on. Azamar? Angel, maybe? That's going to be unlockable at 1.7 million. I've not seen anything about the little fox yet. But if the rock's unlockable at 1.7, I imagine there'll be more stretch goals after 1.7. That means you can unlock little foxes and things like that. It's pretty cool. So go and check it out. Let's fade back across, shall we? Oh, hi, everyone. We're back.
Oh, hi. Okay, look.
Fighting with cats.
Yes.
Yeet.
Douglas, you were sat at this this warm fire when you hear footsteps coming towards you. You hear a very heavy set pair, and you hear Luke's voice just like, Douglas! Douglas! As he sort of like almost staggers towards you, and Lamorna and Wyatt, you can be coming up just behind.
Luke, pal, how you doing? Hey, you found him.
You got any food?
Hey, I got something cooking. Be patient. Sit your turn down.
He's like, okay. And he just doesn't argue, and he sort of, woof, you feel like the log move as he sits down. This is a big guy.
How successful was your journey into the forest? I see you found at least one of the crew. Well done, Wyatt and Lamorna.
Worship it.
They're feeling a wee bit sad, right? They haven't disappeared or anything. They're just... We were talking...
No, they're gone.
Oh, right, yeah. They sort of... I don't remember us role-playing this. When did they disappear?
This was when you came back after the encounter with the little girl that told you that there are others on the island.
That's why she was like, where are they?
Well, alright. There's a bit of a story here, Wyatt and Lamorna. We saw Elizabeth, the wee gal in white. When I saw Elizabeth, Shep disappeared.
Wait. So just to be clear, Elizabeth is the little girl from the ship. Yeah. Is that right?
That is
Matt
right.
is
Right?
asking.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Aye.
Did you shoot her?
No, I
Did
didn't.
you stab her?
We've
No.
established that's not going to help anything right now.
You
Instead,
don't know that.
I tried befriending her to see what would happen. Okay.
Then what happened?
Well, she let me go on my way.
Right.
I told her that we were here, and I told her that there were 4 more. I didn't realize there'd be 5 more. But never mind. We'll be alright. I gave her a Mihag stone and told her it was a magic stone. So, she came back later before you all came back and brought me stew. I would say friendship successful. However, she had some very interesting information to give me.
Yes.
She lives here with her ma and pa. She has no memory of being on the ship or of me. She's very confused as to why I'm here. In fact, she's been She's been on this island for all of her life, as far as she can remember, and never been on a ship or away or anything like that. Not only does she live here with her ma and pa, there's a little community with more wee lads and lassies and parents and things. Apparently, we just need to head towards that boulder over there with the wiry tree. And when we head that way, we'll find a wee path that leads to our community.
Interesting.
Her community.
Aye.
This is where she's from.
Seems that way.
Well, I'll just make sure I got my gun fully loaded and that I got plenty of extra bullets on my bandolier.
Wyatt, if you take any rash action of that sort before we fully understand the situation, then we are going to come to blows.
Listen, I ain't rationing nothing. I told you that little girl was trouble. And I had a dream that she was going to do what she did. And then she did it.
You dreamt that she caused that storm and
Yes.
turned our boat upside down.
Yes.
How did she
And
do
now
that in
we're
your
on
dream?
her home, wherever this is.
No, sorry, I haven't got past the last point yet. How did she conjure the storm in your dream?
I don't know. She just stood there, and like this whole thing where we don't understand stuff. What we were talking about in the woods.
Really? Because when that storm started, I just stood there as well. So did Shepard. So did Douglas. Any one of us could have cast that storm.
Cast the storm.
Well, yes, that's what you're saying, isn't it? You said she was a witch, or have you changed that as well?
No, yeah, she's for sure a witch.
I must admit that she did seem highly suspicious to me when we were on the ship. She did. Alright, I've spoken to Yelamor and I've spoken to Shepard. Both who are seasoned seafarers. Wyatt, we've spoken to. And I agree that perhaps she's innocent and perhaps the sea has a plan for us here. Maybe. But it is mighty suspicious that we pick up a sandy Jamesling and a wee white witchy girl, and then our ship gets turned topsy-turvy and everything else. Something else that I may be inclined to tell you. I think Lamorne, you were with me when we went to the ship, weren't you? You already know this.
Hmm.
The captain had big changes before he came here. Wife and child both died.
Yes, he was acting as if possessed.
As though he wanted to come here.
Indeed. And you say that the Elizabeth you saw today had no memory of us or you or anything. I mean, what if the Elizabeth on the ship was also a changeling? Or what if she also died? We don't understand enough to go throwing around accusations and violence.
I will agree that no matter what we do, violence will only beget violence in this case. So far, I've given her a wee present. And she gave me a wee present back. It was a nice gift. I have a feeling that if we give her a bullet, she may give us harm back in turn. Do you follow me, Wyatt?
I'm with you. As soon as somebody starts doing something weird, like making the sun black out, I'll be ready.
in the sun. What new?
Because I understood that correctly, right? Alice was like it was pretty bright, and then just gone, right? Black in the sun, right? Black. So like earlier,
It's
the
something.
reason we're in like the pitch that we're in
Did
right
this
now.
happen to me as well? The sun blocked out for me as well?
I thought it was only in the woods.
It was only in the woods.
Yeah.
Oh, we're back in the daylight right now.
It's sort of like dusk rather than
Oh,
it's
okay.
not nighttime, but it's getting there.
I
So
didn't
then
know
I'll
what-
explain to Douglas what happened, and you
Oh.
know,
that didn't
Eh.
happen for me.
strange.
Luke, had that happened before? The sky suddenly growing dark in the forest.
No. Not at all. I mean, it was always a bit grim and dark in there, but never pitch black.
So you lit the lantern as soon as it grew dark?
I told you, when I washed up ashore, it was already lit. Couldn't put it out.
How long ago did you couldn't put it out?
Couldn't put it out.
Can I have a look at the lantern? Just like sudden kind of like, that's weird.
Yeah. He hands it like straight over to you, and it looks like one of the ones like the ones on the ship, the ones that James would go around lighting. I can't put it out.
If
I mean, to be honest, it became quite handy at one point, but you know.
True. If I put my kind of finger near the flame, is it hot?
Yeah, it's hot.
Why did I don't understand why the sun didn't black out for you?
I didn't know, Douglas. Perhaps because I was kind to the wee little girl.
You think that was it?
Well, I mean, if we think that she is a witchy
Like-
woman, then perhaps that's the reason. But if it's got nothing to do with her, perhaps it's just where you were. Maybe you stepped on some hallowed ground.
I don't know about
I
that.
mean-
I don't know about any of that. Everybody was pretty nice to him, to her on the ship, and then and then we ended up here.
Now you come to mention it, it did happen rather when we discovered the footprints. It's probably related to the black dog.
A black shuck.
I mean, that was one potential explanation. We found the tracks of a very large black dog in the woods, and the smell
Hey,
of...
wait. How do you, if you just found tracks, how do you know it's black?
It was conjecture drawn from the fact that where it had stepped, there was a strong smell of burning, as if the leaf litter itself had been singed. And the size of these paw prints, the shape of them, just made me think of, old stories, legends of black dogs. And then, just as we were leaving, there was... And Alice, we heard the howling, didn't we?
Yeah, you both heard the howling.
We heard the howl as we left the woods. I wondered whether that darkness was... I don't know. Whatever powers control this strange island. Maybe it was making it easier for the black dog or something.
Alice.
Yeah.
Douglas be familiar with legends of black dogs.
You would be, certainly. You're Scottish.
Aye.
What is that, a Scotland thing?
There is a lot of things about moors up there in the Highlands of
I've got a local one near here as
dogs.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a very
one in
British
the-
thing.
There's one in Dartmoor. There's an East Anglian one. There's
The
over the
ex-
It's
place.
where the
One
hound of the
got-
hound of the Baskervilles idea
Yeah.
came from.
Yeah.
And yours would definitely be called the Shuck.
Aye. Look, if all Shuck's around. I didn't even know what he's done following us here from Scotland. But I didn't like that.
Douglas, would you like to do because you would probably in particular be knowledgeable of the Shuck in particular. Do you want to roll either a balance or a brains to see how much you remember?
Why
You don't
not?
have to, I'm just saying.
Lamorna be familiar with the Dartmoor one as well.
Mm-hmm.
Greens. 7, mild success.
Okay.
Mildest.
So, Lamorna and Douglas, as you're both talking about this, you sort of recall more and more things. In fact, you all do. The only thing is, Wyatt, is that yours they just differ slightly. It's more about the sounds, it's more about the howl, and things like that. But Douglas in particular, you remember being a small child and being told not to go out onto the moors late at night, sort of up by where the Highlands are.
Don't go off into the Highlands.
The Highlands at night, people would talk about the howl of the wolf and the paws, the giant paws that would be seen, and they were a sign. And you remember your mother's words that how paths can change easily without you even noticing, where you can step over a narrow divide into the next life when this strange but very large dog crosses your path. She always said that in such a place like this, it would not be no surprise at all for you to see this hulking figure of the black shuck, this midnight fur of this big shaggy dog, these gleaming teeth of fur, and the howling at night, which is where Wyatt, you sort of feel a bit of a shiver run down your spine. And Lamorna, from, in particular, your travels on the moors, you remember how it is known for chasing souls into the afterlife. You know that it can be seen by all of those living, dead, in between. It's how you deal with it when it crosses your path. Those that do wrong can be hunted by this creature. And the shuck is known for leaving what it calls the devil's fingerprints in its wake. Scorch marks that resemble sort of like on the ground, almost like paw prints, sometimes seen as like as if lightning has hit the ground. And the one tale you've been told, Wyatt, is if you hear the howl of the black shuck, you run for shelter. It barks 3 times only, with a very great, like a pause in between each one. If you hear the 3rd howl, you can be overcome with terror. And if you find yourself near the beast, you cover your eyes.
Cover your eyes.
You cover your eyes because if you look into them, you'll probably die within the year.
Lamorna is definitely frozen up a bit the more that she's kind of recollected.
I think as Douglas relays this information, he'll be standing over the fire, so he's kind of got that uplight in the evening darkness. And be wary at crossroads or other places, like you can step into the afterlife as soon as take the wrong path. They're not nice creatures, the black shuck, the portent of death.
Well, this supports what I was thinking. I think we are at those crossroads now. I think there's a very, very real chance that we could have died when the ship went under.
Ah.
I think if that dog catches us, if it finds us, then our spirits will be sent on. If we can find a way off this island, if we can stay safe, perhaps we will return to where we came from.
And Luke sort of leans forward. He's like, now, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm from Cork, so I get a slightly different story on these things, but when you said, Wyatt, you cover your eyes so you can't see it. Its eyes have 2 colors. in Ireland. They have the red eyes, and that's when you know it's gonna get you, and you wanna keep your eyes firmly shut, and it'll chase you.
Aye, and they glow in the night.
But if they're green, they're not after you. If you take a step wrong, it'll chase you. But people used to say that the black shuck lurked about just a few hours outside of our village. I mean, loads of people who said it was just to, keep people at bay. We got a lot of smugglers around that area. So to say a black shuck there, you keep your goods safe. But when I was younger, I swear by it, my ma never believed me, but I saw a dog with green eyes. It looked right at me, and it was big. It looked like a dog, but it was too big. And I just thanked my lucky stars that when I blinked again, it disappeared.
And did your stories also say that it would hunt those who have done wrong? It would hunt sinners? Those were the ones it would go after?
That is correct. I mean, I was a pretty good lad, so I didn't have too much to worry about. But now I'm kind of
Yeah.
My folklore depicts the black shuck as a demonic creature that has nary a care for your morals.
Well, either way, I would rather it didn't catch up with any of us, but I...
Well, I hope you're wrong, Lamorna. The preachers always told me I was the biggest sinner.
Yeah, well, we've all had our times. I don't believe in a good place after this, or a bad place after this one. I certainly am not bound for either. So I'd rather not come within any sort of distance of this creature. I think we should look for shelter. I think we should get out of the open. At least not step back into that forest for a little while.
What if the little girl and her people come and get us? She knows where we are now.
I'm not afraid of her. I'm afraid of it.
And we need to find Shep.
Yeah, we do.
Aye, we do need to find Shep.
I was going to ask. I thought you said James was here as well.
James is with Shep.
I did tell the wee lass that we'd either stop by this evening, depending on how late it got. Didn't want to be rude, or we'd go tomorrow morning. Or if you like, we can do a sleep and watch. Head to bed early so we can all get a decent sleep despite the watches. And head over tomorrow.
That makes sense to me. I might also suggest that we try and stay close to the water. It just seems like a natural leap of logic that if a beast leaves footprints like fire and scorch marks, it might not be a great swimmer. Or at least the water seems safer than the woods to me. There's nowhere it could be lurking or hiding.
Makes sense to me. Should we...
We're already on the beach. We should be fine where we are here. Just
Maybe
when we're traveling.
build a trench around us or something like that?
I don't feel like that would stop a supernatural creature.
Plus, dogs can jump.
That,
That looks just all I looks for, isn't it?
yeah.
But you've heard of the saying that witches and such can't pass smooth water, right?
I have.
I think that depends on the witch, doesn't it?
Depends who you speak to, I think.
Well, you got your hagstones, right?
I gifted mine to the wee lass.
Alright, well in that case, I will take first watch. And I will hand over my hagstone to whoever takes it after me. That way whoever is up and awake won't get snatched before they can wake the others.
I'll take second watch. I've got my own hagstone.
Well, I ain't got no hagstone, so I'm gonna go to sleep.
You should do, you look pretty exhausted.
Knackered. And he looks so tired. Lucas, you're normally used to being up and moving and thing, and he is sat there, shoulders slumped over. And he sort of, you see him almost half slide, wraps his arms around his chest and slide down. And just rest his head against the log by the fire. And in no time at all, you imagine maybe he's not slept since he's been here, being on his own, maybe been on edge. And you see him drift off. How about Douglas? What does Douglas do?
Gonna get some rest too. 6 or 8 hours. I am slightly tired lugging all this food back from the ship. But if you need someone to take watch later on, you can call on me.
I'll remember that.
Have a good watch and keep your wits about you. Patty, bye.
Good night.
Okay. And so, is everyone apart from the mourner asleep right now? Okay. Okay, so Lamorna, you take the first watch, and the night goes past pretty calmly. You can hear the sea lapping up against the shore. Again, it's very, very calm. You don't hear anything come from the woods or anything like that. The most you can hear actually is probably more sound you've heard in a long time here. You can hear some crickets. You see the moon sort of giving that silvery shine down onto the ocean. And if you're on watch, could you please roll me a beyond check?
I can indeed.
Okay. On a 10, are you stood up? Are you sat down? How are you keeping watch?
I think she probably is quite fidgety. I don't think she can get very comfortable, so I think she'll be sat for a while, then she'll get up, pace around the fire, take out the locket, kind of look at it, and then put it away, and then sit down again. Just never really settles.
You, as you do take out the locket, you sort of hover over those two pictures, the man and the woman. And how do you feel when you look at these two individual images?
I think there's a lot of confusion because I think at the surface she's still very angry, and it's like a deep, irrational anger that's just of pure like insult from what they did and what happened. But then she kind of is angry at herself as well for the fact that the more she looks at them, the more she feels stronger than the anger. She feels sad. And I think she's angry at herself for feeling sad about what happened. And as if she's been trying to tell herself for a long time that she deserves she deserves to be furious. And that's how she should be. And she is, but it's almost like a cover for how she really feels at this point. And I think she feels like she's kind of betraying herself by letting kind of feelings of like the sadness and like the longing exist underneath. And I think she just kind of stares at it for a while.
You look down, and this pendant feels pretty cool in your hand, this locket. As the evening has got, you're warm from the fire, but this metal feels very, very cold in the palm of your hand. And as you're looking at it and running sort of your fingers over the two pictures, you sort of look past it down at the ground and you see a pair of boots standing in front of you.
She blinks, assuming that they weren't there before.
They weren't there. As you see two legs at your eye line.
And she slowly looks up.
You run like your eyes up and you look at a fairly well-dressed man. The man from the locket looks at you. And Christopher, this man, looks down at you with a stern gaze and holds out his hand.
I think she just looks down, back up at his face, and then she starts shaking her head and just like backs a couple of steps away. No, you're not here. This is my imagination. You're not here. It's not you. You can't be here.
And he stays very still, very rigid. It's almost like for a moment you have to check that he's actually still there. He almost looks like a painting or something, because he stands so rigidly. And he holds both of his hands out in fists. And then slowly uncurls his hands, and you see the redness stained on his hands, on his shirt. And Lamorna, Christopher stands there and he sort of backs away. He's like stepping away from you. Hands sort of dropped now. But you see that redness. Sort of almost like you can see it creeping up him. Like it's creeping up his arms, it's creeping towards his chest.
You knew what you were doing. You deserved it. You deserve nothing more, nothing less. And now, how come you get to be here and not Emma? Why you?
There are no movements from his lips. There is no sound. As he turns his back on you and starts to walk away.
Wait, you can't just come here like that and then you can turn your back and leave?
Could you roll another Beyond for me, please?
You. Oof.
6. You watch him walk away and you hear crying. But women's voice. Emma's voice. You don't see her, but somewhere you hear sobbing. And there's a strange moment of, I guess, calm. And as you watch Christopher walk towards the shoreline and step into the sea. And he just keeps walking further and further out. And you see as his hands touch the ocean, the red starts to pool in this silvery sort of moonlight. And you hear at the back of your head the laughter shared over a meal. You hear his final gasp for air. Not the one as he steps into the water, the one you took. And as you see his head slowly disappear beneath the water, just the top of his hair, and he disappears, you feel a coldness hit you, almost as if you were the one walking into the water. And you feel the feeling that you did when you took this man's life. How did that feel for Lamorna?
I think at the time she was so caught up in grief, but that sort of grief which comes when you've been incredibly elated and excited, and given that she had just had the potential of essentially a dream about to come through, only for it to be kind of taken. I think she'd been in that grief for a little while. I don't think she did what she did immediately. And then I think it just left her just with nothing. The only thing that had happened after 10 years was just 2 lives wasted along with a portion of hers. And it was just an empty nothingness after she pulled the trigger.
As he disappears below the surface, you hear a gunshot, which almost makes you jump. And you feel as if you had just squeezed that trigger once again. And it's almost like your knees buckle, not out of weakness, but they just fall and you feel yourself hit soft sand. And Wyatt, you're woken up by a gunshot.
Like when I raise up, my pistol is like the first thing to say hello.
Lamorna, how does Wyatt find you?
I think she's kind of on her knees at this point. You can see the locket is just now out in the open. It's just dangling around her neck. She didn't put it away or close it before she saw Christopher, so she would have just dropped it. So yeah, you'd see the silver locket open. It's up to you whether you can see the portraits inside, because they are quite small. But yeah, she's just basically staring at the fire and looks not horrified, just her eyes are wide, but it's like blank at the same time.
Lamorna, what just happened? I heard a gunshot.
I need to take a short walk. Are you alright to keep watch?
Yeah, is it was that somebody? Was that you or somebody else?
I think it's just it's like the music. It's like the howl. It's just a part of this island.
The island is now making gunshot sounds.
It's making whatever it thinks will torture our wretched souls. I'm going down to the water. I'll be back in a bit. I'm fine. And she just gets her feet and starts walking towards the shoreline.
All right. Well, I'll watch her for a bit. Make sure she's all right until I can't see her anymore.
Lamorna, would you walk away so much so that Wyatt wouldn't be able to see you, or are you sitting literally down by the
No, I think she'll just take the quickest route to the water, and she's just gonna start by just like kneeling in it, and then before too long she'll basically just be lying on her back, just with like the surf just coming over her, and just lie there for a while.
And Wyatt, you sort of sit there and you can see her, and it's almost like it looks like she's fallen asleep down by the shore. Not in any danger, just asleep. And again, you just hear the crickets. You can hear Luke snoring now. Okay. And would you wake Douglas at any point to take over the watch, or?
No.
No. Okay. So you sit there until the sun slowly starts to come up.
That's right.
You don't see any indication of anything. You don't see any washerwomen. You don't see any red eyes. You don't see any burned footprints. You don't hear any howling. You hear none at all. And it's actually a fairly calm evening. You feel almost rested whilst you're keeping a lookout. This is the first evening of nothing.
Well, that's unsettling. Is Lamorne still by the water?
Lamorna is still by the water.
Well, as the sun starts to come up, I'm gonna wake Douglas up and just say, "Hey, it's daylight," and just like let him just like, wake himself up the rest of the way up. And I'm gonna go see if Lamorne is all right.
Daylight already. What the heck happened?
And you see sort of Luke sit almost bolt upright, just like a fist up, as he hears other sounds. He's like, oh, okay, no, it's fine, it's fine. And it sort of like leans back again, not asleep, but definitely leaning back. And Wyatt, you can walk down to the shore where Lamorna is. And Lamorna, are you asleep or are you awake?
I think she went through some kind of semi-sleeping, like she slept for a bit and woke up. I think she probably woke up when if light has kind of broken now.
You
and
definitely feel the warmth. on your
yeah,
face
I
as
think
it
she
comes up.
probably felt like the crustiness of the salt as well as the sunlight would have started to dry it. And she is completely soaked. And because like most of her face has got salt crusting on it, you probably can't tell if she's been crying or not. But she does look like a bit of a wreck.
What'd you see?
Nothing that makes any difference.
All right.
Are we gonna go find that kid today?
We gotta do something. I feel like if we don't do something and take this under control, then something's gonna happen to us.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'd like to know how she and her family are safe here.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Well, we should probably have some breakfast.
We should. And hopefully the smell of it will bring Shep back.
I hope so.
I believe I grabbed a pot of coffee and some biscuits so we can have a good old-fashioned ship's breakfast. The fire, the coffee will be hot. Nice and hot.
Yeah.
Luke sort of rolls over and is like, I could definitely go for some coffee.
Right, will you get grinding then?
Right, oh. And he sort of moves over and starts.
The morning just
Coffee
sits
and-
there awkwardly.
Coffee and biscuit. As was brought up in chat last week, biscuits do not mean American biscuits, they don't mean British biscuits, they mean the 1800s version of a biscuit, which is like a really dry cracker.
Like eating a coaster.
Oh.
You dip it in your coffee to soften it. Put it that way.
Wait, what's the difference between American biscuits and UK biscuits?
Oh, let's
Well,
not
you
start
call
this
them
again.
cookies, right?
Well,
no. Their
we
biscuits
call-
are like our scones.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas
Like mini,
yeah.
like mini, like like crispy cakes is what they are.
No,
without the
no, no,
frosting.
no, no.
If they snap, it's a biscuit. If they bend, it's a cake. So a cookie is actually supposed to be a cake.
Jaffa
So-
cakes are
Cakes.
cakes because they go hard.
Once you bake them, you can like cut them down the middle, put some butter in there. Once that butter melts, you get some like jelly or jam or
No, you don't butter
honey.
biscuits. Biscuits do not need butter or jam.
No, you butter your biscuits. Always butter your biscuits.
See what I
The
mean?
scone,
It's
I
a scone.
agree.
You're
but
thinking
then
about
it's
buns.
clotted cream
It's a bun.
and jam. It's clotted cream and jam.
What's clotted cream?
Unless it's a savory scone.
Really,
With
really
the-
bad
no,
for you butter.
Don't tell him what
Bad
clotted
for you
cream
butter?
is. It'll just be introducing a sensing of longing he will never satisfy.
And then if we're gonna go that far, we can go even further. Do we butter our scones the Cornish way or the
Savoury.
Devonshire way?
Oh
See,
yeah.
having lived in both Cornwall and Devon, and experienced both walks of life, I find that the best solution is to start with whatever consistency is thicker.
Clotted cream. I always start clotted cream
Unless
and
the
then I go
clotted
jam.
cream's been outside, out of a
True.
fridge, and it's all a bit too runny.
And it depends how much fruit is in the jam.
I do that. I do the strawberry jelly. And like it's
oh
like
no,
it's
we're
like a
getting into the jams and jellies discussion now.
Yeah.
Like, this can't happen.
it's like a little strawberry goodness. I don't know what to call it even.
It's jam.
It's so good.
Preserve.
Guess
Calling it
Let's
cross
just
then.
call
Put
it preserve. We can all
put-
agree
put
on
it-
preserve,
Put
right?
put a little bit of sausage like right there in the middle.
With jam.
Oh, hang on. Do
Now
you mean
we're-
like cranberry juice? Cranberry sauce.
Do I mean cranberry sauce? No,
Yeah.
I mean
you
strawberry,
mean strawberry
jelly.
jam?
Strawberry
jam,
sausages?
jelly.
No.
There's
Good lord, no.
Wait.
But
Strawberry
then
sausages.
mixing sweet, as I understand
Yes.
it, mixing sweet and savory is like an American staple, right? Like sweet potatoes
Yeah.
with marshmallows
Yeah.
on and weird
that,
shit like
that
that.
angers me. I'm not going into that.
that angers you.
I will accept. The thing is, I will
Flavorful
accept,
goodness angers you.
No.
like, yeah, but strawberry
No.
jam just doesn't complement sausage. If you had honey, honey
Hang on,
goes
wait, wait,
excellently
wait.
with sausages.
What kind of sausage?
We've stepped too far.
Is it pork and apple? Is it pork? Is it Cumberland? Is it like? Is
It's
it?
just-
Is
Don't
it
say
like
Cumberland. It'll just get more confusing.
No, or like sausage, your hot dog sausages.
Lincolnshire.
not a hot dog. No. I'm talking about like a little disc.
That's not
Medallion?
sausage, mate.
Not
That's
sausage.
that's pepperoni.
It's a sausage. Yeah.
Oh, so like pepperoni, not sausage.
No, not a pepperoni.
Sorry,
But-
if it's been
but like a little
pre-sliced, it ain't a
circular-
sausage.
Like
Nah.
salami.
Like black pudding.
Sort of. Yeah.
Oh, so more like salami.
Sort of. Not exactly salami though.
He means sausage patties. What?
Sausage patties. Yeah.
Oh, you
I
mean
mean,
sausage?
it's sausage meat in the shape of a disc that you can put into a biscuit.
Oh, so it's not like you've got a
That's-
sausage and cut it. It's not like a sausage and you've
It's
sliced.
like a burger, but a sausage burger.
That's right. It's like
oh,
it's
like
like
the
a little,
McDonald's thing.
it's yeah, like a little McDonald's, like a
yeah,
it's like a
okay.
breakfast burger. It's a biscuit with butter, strawberry jelly, and a sausage.
Yeah,
It
there's
would
Callow
be
coming
if it
as
was
well.
a biscuit,
Think
but
McDonald's
it's not.
sausage and egg McMuffin. Yeah.
I'm so upset by
Don't
this.
do that with your biscuit.
But you put
Don't be
jam
upset,
with that? You
Alice.
put jam on that? That's crazy.
You monster.
Are you kidding me, dude?
No, I get like because you have like cranberry sauce with like
Yes.
you know when you do stuffing, sausage stuffing with
Yes, but
wrapped in
those
bacon.
those flavors are designed to complement each other.
It's
Like the
fake.
sweetness of jam is too sweet.
Okay, so the whole like flavor design theory thing, that's great. But the thing is, this is fucking dope. Like you eat it and you're like, oh my god. Like,
But, like-
if it's not supposed to go together, you're like, it doesn't make any sense.
Don't get me wrong. I'll try anything once.
It's
But
true.
there
yeah,
have been
I'll
some
try
things
it,
I've
but
tried. And
like my mind boggles at that.
Okay, so you say you'll try anything once.
Yeah.
That's the danger though, because you try it once and you're like, oh god.
Would I
I'm-
though?
I'm in it.
Because I've
I'm in
tried some stuff that everyone's like, "This is the best thing you'll ever eat," and I really couldn't do it.
Could you trust those people?
Yes.
I mean, okay. This is gonna be really controversial. Okay, Really
Uh-oh.
controversial.
This is where Scrat's gonna leave it. No more
Yeah.
conversation allowed after this controversial
no.
statement.
I've been to Philadelphia.
All right.
Oh,
I
no,
tried-
don't say it. Don't say it.
Three or four Philly cheesesteaks.
Uh-huh.
I don't think they're that great.
I didn't like them either.
What is Whiz cheese? Why does it come from a can?
Yeah,
It's
that's
not-
all wrong.
Tell you what
Canned
was
cheese.
amazing was the Philadelphia cheeseburger.
They were so good.
Rachel, it was like a Five Guys burger, but like 10 times more like Five Guys than it was like McDonald's. Like
I studied the burger blade, okay? Like, I learned to make the homemade burgers. You know, you've got to cook up your bacon and cook it in maple syrup and the whole shebang.
Yeah, no, I know.
Stack up at least 3, 4, 5 different kinds of cheese. That's all you need.
I just don't
Can we
understand
make a-
cheese from a can. It upsets me.
No, that upsets me a lot.
Can we make a? I feel like this is a podcast.
Can we have a food
Do we-
podcast? Because I'd be
do we
really
have,
down
like, a-
for that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the depression and existential despair of the party.
Yes. Let's go back to that.
Which is
shall we?
now transformed into my hate for cheese whiz.
Oh no, we'll be punished more.
I hate it. And don't get me started on grits. But anyway, you wake up in the morning, you're all awake, you've all had your coffee and biscuits. And because that's just easier that we all know a biscuit is a different thing here. And you're sat on the beach. And there's nothing else around. You can still see the sky is clear. You can see your ship still lodged on the beach in the distance. The forest seems particularly calm.
Dream of
Behind you,
American
again, no breeze.
cuisine.
So the wind has stopped.
The wind doesn't seem to be going.
Don't kill my character, Alice. don't do it. Okay.
If he puts if you can find sweet potatoes, put marshmallows on it. I'm
gonna get some berries. I'm gonna mash them. I'm gonna put them on my biscuit.
No, but that's okay because I have quince jelly with like cheese and biscuits.
Okay.
But not strawberry jam.
No, that belongs on toast
Speaking
Strawberry.
of biscuits,
or a crumpet.
Strawberry
or a
face.
muffin. Now let's get into the muffin debate.
No, we're going too
I'm
far.
not.
Back into the game.
Lamorna definitely doesn't really eat anything. I don't think. I think she just kind of. I mean, she's never been a fan of ship's biscuit anyway, but she.
To emphasize this in the
eat.
background,
Yeah.
Douglas is tapping weevils out of the biscuit.
I'd also like to say most people don't like ship's biscuits. It
I
wasn't.
mean, she's been vocal about not liking ship's biscuit many times. But yeah, she's not touching it.
What is everyone else doing? As you said, nothing seems to happen on this beach.
Yeah.
It seems almost very calm. You don't see Shepard at all, or James.
Is there any indication? Douglas, you got okay. Tell me again what happened. How did they disappear? Did they just
Right.
wander off? Did they tell you where they was going?
mean, possibly. I didn't actually see it, to be fair. I saw your wee lass there, right?
Right.
And then I didn't see Shepard.
Do you think the little girl's people took him?
I mean, I didn't really know, to be honest. No, I don't think so. You know, I mean,
That's
honestly,
probably what happened.
anything that I impose on this is gonna be just speculation, to be honest, because I really didn't see anything.
Did she say where they lived?
Aye, over by that wee rock over there with the wiry tree on it. You go over there and
By the
we'll-
rock that we can see that I can see from you pointing at it.
in the
down the
distance,
way?
aye, over that way, yeah. It's well, I say a wee rock. It's a boulder, really. But with a wiry tree on it. Apparently we go over there and we'll find a quaint little path between two shrubberies that'll lead us to their domain.
All right, let's go check it out. Let's go take a look.
I'm thinking.
Yes, we
However,
should
let's
be.
get food in your bellies before we go. I don't want any of you
I
collapsing
stuffed the
on-
rest of the biscuit in my mouth.
Careful, it's full of weevil. Okay.
I'll find something later. Maybe I'll go fishing or something. My stomach's not feeling very well today.
I mean, they're all right once you pick out the weevils.
We I just
You should
it's
be
like
grateful.
it's the scene of like trying to whistle when you got crackers in your mouth.
You should be grateful for the.
You did it.
Oh my god.
I know what you mean. I'm sorry, I just know exactly
Couldn't
what
help
you mean.
yourself. You had to do
I missed that.
it.
I'm not doing it again. That was a one
Yes,
thing.
Okay, sorry. Headed down the beach.
I will follow closely.
Okay. So, are you heading towards the rock and the tree?
Yeah,
Yes.
we're Dougie Fresh pointed.
Is Douglas coming with?
Aye.
Are we gonna leave Luke to keep an eye on camp in case the others come back?
Luke seems to be very fine with doing that, or he'll come with. He's very much looking to you for direction. You can tell he looks pretty knackered still, but
Yeah, let him rest.
okay. You head down the beach, and you reach the rock, and you reach this sort of, or very sort of twisted tree. It looks like it's grown slightly to the side, maybe where like if the wind or something had been pushing against it, you can see what looks like a channel through the forest that is almost like I guess like a wind tunnel. And as you sort of round the corner, you see a cobbled path. It looks almost very odd, as it looks odd where it's almost like it's coming out of the sand and going up through this brush and these sort of these gorse bushes. But it's almost like a town. It's like a town cobbled path. And you're sort of walking along, and you're surrounded by these bushes. And for a moment, you see a flash of white as there's a little girl with a small basket reaching up and pulling these blackberries off of the bush.
Don't
Collecting
recognize this little
them.
girl.
You recognize Elizabeth. She hasn't seen any of you, but she's just like gathering them.
I'm gonna hail her. Don't be alarmed, alright? Just be nice.
And don't take that gun out.
Is she picking blackberries maliciously?
She is
Or
not
is it-
maliciously picking back blackberries.
Okay, then
Yeah.
I'll just sit patiently then.
Good morning, Elizabeth. You
She's
making a
sort of half-
preserve?
Sort of half jumps.
I got some biscuits back there if you want.
Biscuits. You have nuts. And she sort of like jumps. She's like, "Oh, Douglas, sir. Are these your other crew members you spoke about?" And she sort of holds it. She sort
Aye.
of hugs the basket of blackberries.
Aye, some of them. This is Lamorna, and this is Wyatt. Now, unfortunately, Shep and Luke, they're either not around at the minute, or they're getting a bit of a sleep. But I thought a small party might be nice anyway to come and introduce ourselves. How are you this morning?
I'm very good, thank you. We were
Great.
just gonna make a crumble, so I was getting blackberries.
A crumble. Love a crumble, me.
Sorry, I feel
Funny,
like
that
I'm
almost
debating.
that almost sounded Welsh. Can't get out of it now.
Oh!
Oh!
Oh,
No. A papez, a beef bridie. Alright. Alright. Perhaps we can give you a hand, or maybe meet your parents and your friends. We're strangers here. We're not really sure what's going on.
If you want, you can come back for breakfast.
Aye. Wait, come back for breakfast. We're here. Can we not just say hello now?
No, I know, it's just up the path.
Oh, you mean breakfast is pretty much ready? Well, that sounds... We've already had a wee meal, but I'm sure we could squeeze in a little more out of politeness, couldn't we?
And you can see that she is shy. It's not like nerves, it's more just shy. And she's like, you can follow me if you want.
Aye. Aye. I say to my, like, Lamona and Wyatt, nodding emphatically, aye.
Yes.
Aye, we can do that. Aye. Aye, we'll do that.
Aye.
This way. And she starts to walk up the path.
I'll lean over to Douglas and say, I am going to be keeping a lookout.
Yeah, alright, just don't do anything rash, alright? We don't
I'm
know.
just keeping a look. Just
Think of it this way, if they are all witches, they might ignore your guns and stuff and tear you to shreds.
Well, I guess I'm about tired of being here anyway.
Let's just follow her.
That's
I take that back. I'm going to survive. I want to overcome this.
Okay, I was gonna say that's very extreme there, Wyatt. I'd rather you
I
survive.
had a moment.
Alright,
But I'm back. All right.
Good.
It must have been the weevils.
Let's just follow her
Weevils.
before she leaves us behind, and you shouldn't
Aye.
disparage extra protein, Wyatt.
And she walks up the path. You see her stop one more time to get a few more blackberries, but otherwise she walks up. And you follow the path. And all the way up this cobbled street, you're all met with this small house. And what order are you walking up in?
I'll lead.
I'll
Having established a
second.
friendship.
And watch the back.
Douglas, as you head
Pardon
up
my
the
coffee.
path, you see her walk up to the front door and open it. In here! As she sort of disappears inside. As you look up at this house, there's a strange feeling that washes over you.
The house on legs for a start.
It's not Baba Yaga, it's okay.
Okay. Just checking.
This
You
is
know, first check,
actually-
strange house, is it Baba Yaga?
This is actually a very comforting feeling.
Oh.
This house looks homely.
Oh.
It's your childhood home.
What?
What does Douglas's childhood home look like as you see Elizabeth open the door and disappear inside?
It looks very out of place here. It's a great big house out in the Highlands. Got plenty of room, so we just keep on building, you know. There's a great big dining hall. There's an armory for hunting. It's a big house. Okay, you say it's comforting. Aye, it's comforting. It's also damned confusing. I'm looking at this thing in shock and awe.
It looks slightly smaller than you remember, almost as if it's been shrunk.
You can't shrink the house.
Something loose about this goose. You sort of look at, but it is right down to the windows, the doors, that mark on the wall where the scratch style used to be before it was filled in. It's all there.
Everything all right, Douglas? Why did you stop?
Well, dear Elizabeth, has led us to a miniaturized version of my house on the beach.
Your house.
Aye, look, you can see on that wall there where there's big, deep grooves where we were marking our heights as we were growing up. I recognise it as if it was yesterday.
Wyatt, what house did you grow up in?
So, Wyatt would have grown up in like a prairie house. that's kind of off like between ranches. And he would go like to different ranches and come back to this tiny little, one room log cabin, kind of prairie home.
Is there like a decking outside or anything like that?
Yeah, there would be like a small front porch with like maybe 3 stairs. You don't really even need stairs to go down, but they're just kind of put there because that's what you do.
And Lamorna, what was the house that you worked in?
Lamorna worked at a small country Cornish kind of estate sort of thing. So very, very poldark, basically. The kind of place you'd expect there to be a yard and kind of chickens and livestock nearby. But the kind of old house that's very thick-walled, quite cold, but has been filled with the kind of the paraphernalia of several generations, and there's always kind of fires in the hearths. But probably quite Georgian, I'm imagining. And yeah, very tall ceilings, quite grey, and kind of that Victorian, very much Victorian, paraphernalia everywhere, like things with cushions on, and like you've got curios here and there, slightly creepy paintings.
Every English house isn't complete without a creepy painting.
Yeah, exactly.
And you hear the clucking of chickens. You don't see them, but you hear
Looks
them.
like we got a new friend.
And hello, readers.
Okay, I'm gonna try it. Welcome in, Voivodekahutek.
That is some name. Love it. But Douglas, you hear the crackling of the fire as if you were sat by a giant hearth in your home back in Scotland. And Lamorna, you hear those chickens. You feel like you can hear busying, as if someone's inside, moving things around. And Wyatt, you can see those 3 steps, and the one that you know dips slightly to the right at the top. You will see a house from your memories, as plain as day in front of you.
I mean, after what happened last night, I think Lamorna freezes for a second, and then she's just gonna dash into the house and make her way as quickly as she can towards where Christopher's study would have been. Just stride all the way there with wide eyes.
So we all
Wyatt
see
and Douglas. Oh, sorry. You watch Lamorna just stride towards this house, but you see them striding towards your houses.
Caution, Lamorna. I think. What do you see? Do you see my house?
You never lived here.
Aye.
He keeps going.
Or perhaps we all see something a wee bit different here. Use caution. Stick together.
Well, keep up then.
We don't know who's in there. We should say hello first and be polite.
And Douglas, do you follow?
I'm gonna step over the threshold and be like, hello, Cooey. We're here to say hello.
You step through the threshold after Lamorna as she dashes in.
Pick some
And
up,
Wyatt, do you follow?
I'm going to very slowly step up the stairs or the steps, and I'm going to take my hat off.
You
like
feel
supposed to.
them so familiar beneath your feet. And as you sort of close your eyes just for a moment, and it's that familiar creak as you step up. And as you step onto the 3rd step, you can see a nail sticking out with a
Just
piece
right there
of
next.
white cloth torn on the edge as you step forth onto the decking.
Like from the ship?
Like exactly from the ship. And that is where we leave it this week.
Alice,
Before we start
no.
talking about the biscuits.
Our fault. We
No.
wasted 10 minutes.
You gave me steps.
What do you mean we wasted 10 minutes?
I
I'm about
learned
to
a
give
lot
you.
in
I'm about
those
to
10
change your lives.
Oh, I'm too tired for this.
Oh boy.
No. You're exactly as tired as you need to be. Your whole life has led to this moment, dude. Like, just think about that for a second. Everything, all the decisions that you've ever made ever have led to now and here. For me to tell you about buttered biscuits with strawberry jelly and sausage.
No, I'm about to go have dinner. Don't put these thoughts in my head.
Well, we'll put a pin in the honey buttered strawberry biscuit things, and we'll come back to those. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you very much for the raid. We've had a few announcements and some credits, and then we'll carry on with the stream. First of all, please check out our social links if you've enjoyed what you've seen here. Come and join our Discord. Say hi on Twitter. If you want to get into a game, our channel focus is getting new people into D&D and other TTRPGs, so send me a DM on Twitter and I'll help you with that. We have a waiting list. I'll get you on the list. We'll get you a game very soon. Also, if you want to catch up on all the other episodes in this show so you've got a better idea of what's going on, you can head over to the YouTube. We're going to run some credits in a second. Okay, it's going to have information about all of these people around the screen, and I thoroughly recommend that you go and check them all out and check out all the things that we mentioned because they are amazing, each and every single one of them. Constantly exceeding the field in all of the fields that they do. We also have sponsors. Check out our sponsors. Hero Forge being the first of which, well, not the first of which, that implies that there's a hierarchy. Hero Forge being probably with the most recent news things, because right now they have a Kickstarter running, which, hang on, let's refresh the page. Has it beaten 1.5k yet? Has it beaten 1.5k yet?
1.5kk?
What? 1.5kk? No, we are
thousand.
only 5k away from 1.5 million on the Kickstarter, on the Hero Forge Kickstarter. This is a new thing. It's going to be now 3,000% funded, and it's not. They're going to be producing colored minis that you can design yourself, just like the old Hero Forge designer. But it's not going to be painted. These are going to be colored resins. It looks incredible. Go and check it out. Also, check out our other sponsors, Mage Hand Press. Mage Hand Press, they created the Dark Matter expansion for 5e, which allows you to play 5e in space. It has classes, backgrounds, races, ships, ship combat, equipment, including blasters and stuff like that. An expanded spell list, including things like Hold Ship. You can imagine the Hold Ship spell and not see Darth Vader. I don't know what's wrong with you. Check it out. It's amazing. And if you use my code, MHPScrat, you can get a 15% discount on your delivery if you order online. Also, check out our third sponsors. Not that they're hierarched in this way at all. Also, check out the Deck of Many, who created the Deck of Many Things. I think that was their first Kickstarter. They also have the Deck of Many Animated Things, which Alice will hold up now.
Yeah.
And they also created the Humblewood campaign for 5e, which allows you to play as small burbs and things. There's a whole campaign in there. It's a ton of fun. We're going to run some credits. We're going to take a short break, and then we will be back, as I am going to be streaming between the streams today. We're doing a little experiment to see how it affects viewership, and if I can keep you all entertained for 2 hours between streams.
Between the streams?
Between the streams.
Never cross
Scratticus,
streams.
between the streams.
Yeah. I'm
God.
crossing the streams. I'm crossing the streams. We're doing it. Thank you for the follow. We really appreciate that. As you can see, we're doing very well on all of our goals. Our January follower goal, though, is a little shorter than the other two, so we really appreciate the follows. Thank you very much. Let's run some credits, shall we? I'll see you all in a little bit. Keep evoking emotions. Bye.
Buttered biscuit.